Well, thank you, Rabir, very much what you and all of those at Planned Parenthood do to provide quality health care services to women in New Jersey and across the country. And this is about a sacred right, and it is about health care, and we lose that sometimes in the context of these issues. I'm thrilled to be here with probably the state's greatest County Executive Joe DiVincenzo, who is at the forefront not only of putting Essex first, but putting Essex women's first in the work that he has been doing for years. And of course, to our distinguished First Lady, who you're going to hear from in just a moment, and we congratulate her and the governor on the great success that they had on Election Day. Today, we're here to unequivocally and unapologetically say that reproductive rights are human rights and that the attacks on the rights of women anywhere are an attack on the rights of women everywhere. I'm glad to be here with Planned Parenthood, with New Jersey's First Lady Tammy Murphy. The First Lady has been leading the charge on the Murphy administration's efforts to reduce maternal mortality in New Jersey, and she understands better than anyone else that we must respect the rights of women to make their own private medical decisions in consultation with their doctors. And Tammy, as I said, congratulations. It's been over 4 decades that a Democratic governor in New Jersey has won a second term. So Governor Murphy's victory is historic, and we can say with all confidence that he'll continue to be as fierce an advocate for reproductive rights in his second term as he was in his first. I'll never forget how hard the governor worked to restore funding for Title X in the face of the Trump administration's relentless attacks on women's health providers like Planned Parenthood. It's a relief that President Trump is out of office, and I'm glad to see President Biden working to reverse many of the Trump administration's efforts to undermine reproductive rights. But even so, we come together amid a backdrop of unrelenting attacks on the right to safe and legal abortion in this country. Anti-choice ideologues have taken over state legislatures and passed a deluge of cruel and unprecedented laws that at the end of the day are designed to force women to carry unwanted pregnancies without any regard for their health or their livelihood. They have passed ludicrous, medically unnecessary regulations that make it nearly impossible for abortion providers to continue seeing patients. They have tried to restrict access to non-surgical abortions and force women into more expensive and invasive procedures. And they've tried to traumatize women out of exercising their rights through state-sponsored ultrasounds, mandatory waiting periods, and other blatant interference. We've all been shocked by some of the most egregious state-level efforts to offer abortion access, like the new Texas law that gives anyone the right to sue someone from having or performing an abortion after 6 weeks. I understand the Texas Attorney General didn't have much of an easy time defending the law before the Supreme Court last week, but the truth is we face an even greater threat to Roe versus Wade in the coming weeks. This December, the Supreme Court will hear arguments for and against a Mississippi law that outlaws abortion at 15 weeks, a full 2 months before medical experts say that a fetus is viable outside of the womb, and therefore in direct violation of the Supreme Court's decision in Roe versus Wade. This latest threat to reproductive rights is grave. It means that in just a few weeks, the most conservative Supreme Court in American history will hear the most serious challenge to Roe versus Wade since it established the right to choose a half a century ago. We stand at the crossroads of 2 futures, one in which the constitutional right to privacy protects the medical decisions made between pregnant women and their doctors, and one in which we return to the days of dangerous back-alley abortions and begin rolling back all of the social and economic progress that reproductive freedom has helped women achieve over the last 5 decades. it's worth remembering how we got here. My friends, we didn't arrive at this perilous moment by traveling the straight and narrow path. On the contrary, we were dragged down a road paved by jaw-dropping, norm-shredding abuses of power by Republicans in the United States Senate. I don't like to dwell on the past, but when the consequences we warned about are unfolding right before our eyes, we have to call out those who are responsible for them. It was Senate Republicans who brazenly stole a Supreme Court seat when President Obama still had 9 months left in his term, unfairly shifting the court rightward. It was Republicans who ended the 60-vote threshold for lifetime appointments to the Supreme Court so they could confirm Donald Trump's right-wing justices at blazing speeds, even when credible allegations of sexual assault came to light against Justice Kavanaugh. And it was Senate Republicans who broke their own rules in order to ram through the confirmation of Justice Amy Coney Barrett just days before the 2020 presidential election. Remember, they said 9 months before President Obama finished office that the next president should decide. Yet days before the next president of the United States, now Joe Biden, would have had that opportunity, they ran through a Supreme Court justice. Make no mistake, their deception and abuse brought us to this moment. We have been saying for some time, those of us who serve in Congress, that we cannot take Roe versus Wade for granted. Well, the threat to Roe versus Wade has never been greater. And that's why our commitment to reproductive rights must be stronger, it must be louder, it must be more unshakable than ever. It should not matter if you live in New Jersey or New York or Texas or Mississippi. The right to make private medical decisions is protected by the United States Constitution and belongs to every American. How would men feel if a group of women decided that they are going to decide on their reproductive health? I don't think that men would feel too good about that. That's why Senator Booker and I have long been pushing for legislation to federally protect the right to choose for all Americans, regardless of which state they live in. We need the Women's Health Protection Act, and we need it now. And this is why, year after year, I've also introduced the Equal Rights Amendment to the United States Constitution in the Senate. It's just 24 simple words that form a powerful statement that says, quote, "Equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex." For too long, far too long, people have treated the ERA as a nice-to-have when recent events indicate that it is a must-have. At the end of the day, this all comes down to the rights of women to control their bodies, to choose their own destinies, to decide, sometimes one of the most difficult decisions a woman will ever make. But it is hers to make. If my Republican colleagues were truly concerned about reducing abortion rates, they would support access to affordable birth control. If my Republican colleagues were truly concerned about reducing abortion rates, they would support comprehensive sex education in our schools that proven to reduce unwanted pregnancy. They would support federal paid family leave so that mothers could afford to take time off to heal their bodies and bond with their babies after giving birth. They would join Democrats on the Build Better Back agenda and pass affordable child care so that parents who want to have another baby can afford to do so. These policies enjoy enormous support among the American people, just as the right to safe and legal reproductive freedom enjoys enormous support among the American people. Most of us understand that decisions about having a baby or terminating a pregnancy are among the most personal, private decisions that people make in their entire lives. And nearly all of us agree that government has no place in the exam room, and no business interfering in medical decisions that women are more than capable of making on their own. So let's not give up. Don't forget that the American people, I believe, on this issue, Republicans, Democrats, and independents alike, are on our side. They are on the side of women. They are on the side of families. They are on the side of children. They're on the side of Roe versus Wade. And they are with us in this fight to ensure that everyone in America has that access. With that, let me turn to the extraordinary First Lady who we have in New Jersey, a fierce advocate for women's health and reproductive freedom, Tammy Murphy.